Safety creed. No schedule is so important, no job so urgent, no emergency so great that we cannot take time to work safely and take care of the environment.
I'm Newton Young, Director for the Renewables Department. Here at the Renewables, we take great pride in the HSE program. As such, we implore each and everyone who comes on this plant to work safely so that you can go home at the end of the day to your family in one piece.
The renewable generation plants are situated in the parishes of St. Anne, Trelawney, St. Elizabeth and St. Andrew. The active capacity is 31.66 megawatts, comprising of 28.66 hydros and 3 megawatts of wind. The current number of employees is approximately 30, which includes approximately 10 regular contractor workers. Other workers are employed through contractors for special projects, including maintenance outages. The renewable generation has a total of 13 generating units, comprising of 9 hydro-generating units and 4 wind turbines. St. Anne has 3 hydro-generating plants: Upper White River, Lower White River, and Roaring River. The capacity of Upper White River is 3.19 megawatts. Lower White River is 4.75 megawatts, and Roaring River is 4.05 megawatts. Over in Trelawney, there are 2 turbines. Rio Bueno A is 2.5 megawatts, while Rio Bueno B is 1.1 megawatts. In St. Elizabeth, there are 3 turbines. Magotty A is 6 megawatts, Magotty B1 3.15 megawatts, while Magotty B2 is 3.15 megawatts. In St. Andrew, Constant Spring specifically, the capacity is 0.77 megawatts. At Monroe in St. Elizabeth, we have 4 wind turbines, each with an output of 0.75 megawatts, totaling 3 megawatts. Safety creed. No schedule is so important, no job so urgent, no emergency so great that we cannot take time to work safely and take care of the environment. The JPS's environmental philosophy. Ensure good environmental stewardship and conduct by all employees is in full compliance with air, water, and byproducts requirements. Hierarchy of hazard control. A systematic review of each work task is needed to identify existing and potential hazards. Minimum personal protective equipment is required on the job with specialized PPE for specialized tasks. However, hierarchy of controls should be utilized to eliminate or reduce the existing hazards to avoid the sole reliance on PPE, which is the last line of defense. The hierarchy of controls states that hazards should be controlled in this preference: 1. Elimination, 2. Substitution, 3. Engineering controls, 4. Administrative controls, and 5. Personal protective equipment. Plant hazards and precautionary measures. Confined spaces. Confined spaces are always labeled. Enter by permit only. Entry and rescue plans are restricted to trained confined space personnel only. Electrical. Do not enter operational areas alone and obey all signs and instructions. Heat. Do not enter operational areas alone and obey all signs and instructions. Noise and vibration. Ensure that you have and use PPE, proper clothing, and hearing protection. Slip, trip, and fall. Avoid wet and oily surfaces. Use handrails where provided. Wear PPE, non-slippery safety boot or shoe. Fall protection should be used at heights of 6 feet and above. Guardrails, nets, toe boards, personal fall arrest systems shall be used for specific purposes. Use ladders with caution. Follow all ladder safety requirements. Dust and other particles. Wear PPE, eye protection devices, safety glasses or goggles, respirators. Follow safety guidelines for operating lawnmowers and bush grass waka cutters. Potential falling objects. Wear PPE, safety, helmet and safety boot or shoe. Warning signs are to be obeyed at all times. Flammable and combustible liquids. No smoking on power plants. Comply with Jamaica's 2013 Tobacco Control Act. Chemical corrosive and non-corrosive. Comply with all hazard communication instructions, symbols and signs, SDS, rules for restricted areas, and visitor escort. JPS has a PCB management program. Plant is essentially PCB free. Any new PCB is packaged and transported to JPS Central PCB Warehouse, Washington Boulevard, Kingston, from where it is shipped offshore for disposal. High pressure medium. Do not enter operational areas alone and obey all signs and instructions. Lockout and tagout. Personnel are trained to identify and control these hazards. Follow all compressed gas storage, transportation, handling, and use rules. Hazardous plants and animal wildlife. Be always on the lookout, vegetative areas or areas near waterway for potential hazards. Rotating equipment. Do not enter operational areas alone and obey all signs and instructions. If required to enter areas alone, use work alone policy. Moving vehicles and mobile equipment. Obey 15 km per hour speed limit. Use sidewalk. Keep clean ears and eyes. Authorized drivers, operators, authorized entry should park face out so that you can move safely in emergencies without unnecessary reversing. Be aware of your surrounding at all times. Okay. Water body. Keep away from these areas, fencing and barriers. Life jackets, harnesses and lanyards, restraining devices, specialized certification and PPE are required for diving. Use of drugs and alcohol. Following the company's code of ethics and business conduct, it is a well-known fact that the use of alcohol, drugs and medication, prescription or otherwise, can impair decision-making and motor skills. Use of alcohol or illicit drugs at work is strictly restricted. If you need to take any drug or medication that may impair your ability to safely perform your assigned duties, you must advise your supervisor. Consumption of alcohol and illicit drugs prior to the start of your shift or work is just as prohibited. Weapons and explosives. No illegal weapons allowed on the company's premises. Potential threats to employees such as acts of violence, intimidation or coercion have no place at JPS. Employees acting in this manner may be subject to immediate suspension, dismissal, or criminal charges. If you become aware of any of these or similar situations, please report it immediately. You could be saving someone's life. PPE, sterile area, and root, non-sterile areas. Non-sterile. Mandatory personal protective equipment. Head, foot, eye, and earring protection. Sterile area. Car parks, administrative buildings, and cottages. Employees and contractors should have available PPE at hand ready for use as required. Specialized PPE are required for specialized tasks. Accident and accident reporting. An accident is an unplanned event that results in injury, illness, fatality, equipment and property damage, or business interruptions, environmental damage, and is reportable. All accidents and near misses are to be reported as soon as they occur through the visitor's escort, manager, or security post. Contractors are responsible for managing care of their persons involved in accident. JPS may assist with first aid and transportation to the nearest medical facility. Emergency response and assembly point. All visitors and employees to the renewable energy facilities shall be aware of its documented emergency response plan posted in all main work areas, including security posts. It addresses responses to various emergency situations, example fire, flood and earthquake, etc. In case of an emergency requiring evacuation, an evacuation alarm will be made using suitable means, word of mouth, bullhorn, site emergency alarm, etc. The caretaker operator or most senior department officer at the location based on the organization chart at the time shall, number one, ensure smooth evacuation of all visitors and staff to the assembly point. 2. Taking the head count. 3. Notifying plant management and outside agencies of the emergency as required. In case of earthquake, persons should remain calm and protect themselves by ducking, covering, and holding of their location during the shaking. After the shaking, evacuate to a safe area for the head count to be taken. In case of a tsunami threat, head for higher ground. The assembly points at the respective locations are Upper White River, on the lawn in good weather, and the nearest cottage in inclement weather. Lower White River, on the lawn in good weather, and the operator's cottage in inclement weather. Roaring River, on the lawn in good weather, and the operator's cottage in inclement weather. Rai Bueno, on the lawn in good weather, and the operator's cottage in inclement weather. Magotty, on the lawn in good weather, and the operator's cottage in inclement weather. Constant Spring, on the lawn in good weather, and the NWC office in inclement weather. Monroe Wind Farm, green area by substation, open area between wind turbine 1 and 2 and the substation building in inclement weather. Note, if people cannot be accounted for, inform emergency responders. Security. All visitors must report to security or the persons in charge at the location and comply with security instructions. No visitor shall be allowed access if the purpose of visit and visitor facilitator cannot be established. Plant dress code shall be enforced. It is a violation of company rules to tamper with any security equipment. General HSE precautions. Obey all HSE rules. Always comply with all life-saving rules. 2. Aisles, stairs, entrances and exits and general walkways must be kept free of obstacles. 3. Use handrails when ascending and descending staircases and steps. 4. Use ladder and specialized equipment to access elevated objects. 5. Always use guards to cover exposed parts of power-driven equipment. 6. Ensure scaffolding are suitably constructed and appropriately inspected and tagged. 7. Always conduct inspections of specialized tools and equipment before commencing work for the day or shift. 8. Only authorized and trained employees should operate equipment. 9. Never wear loose-fitting clothing and hair, dangling bracelets, rings, earrings, and ties while operating or working around power-driven machinery or in situations where they pose a hazard or potential hazard. 10. Keep filing cabinets and desk drawers closed when not in use. 11. Do not operate defective equipment. Tag and report all defects to immediate supervisor. 12. Prevent spills of oil and chemicals. Promptly clean up spills if these occur. 13. Be alert and stand clear of overhead loads. 14. Practice good housekeeping at all times. 15. Sexual harassment is absolutely unacceptable. 16. Do not run in aisles and walkways. 17. Absolutely no horseplay on the job. 18. Always act in accordance with the company's code of ethics and business conduct as a minimum. Remember, safety starts with S and begins with you. Have a pleasant day.